If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience, because garage cabinets look straightforward online, but living with them every day is where you notice what actually matters. What this set is, in normal terms, is a group of metal storage cabinets and drawers that you mount together into one continuous storage wall, with a bamboo work surface across the bottom run. I got it because my garage had that familiar problem where tools technically had a home, but not a consistent home. Stuff ended up on the workbench, then the floor, then in random bins, and I was wasting time just trying to reset the space after each project. This set is for someone who uses their garage as an actual workspace, not just a parking spot. If you only need a place to throw a couple of bottles of car wash soap, this is probably more cabinet than you need. If you do repairs, woodworking, hobby projects, or you just want your tools to stay put, it makes more sense. The thing that made it interesting to me is that it is not just a row of lockers. The layout mixes cabinet space and drawer space, and the bamboo top turns it into a place where you can actually work without balancing everything on a folding table. I also went with the white finish because my garage does not have great lighting, and darker cabinets can make the space feel smaller and dimmer. White has its own downsides, and I will get to that, but day to day it does help the room feel more open. Right in front of me, the first impression is that the set looks clean and simple. It is not trying to look like something from a showroom. It just looks like a neat wall of storage with a warm wood tone across the work surface. The contrast between the white cabinets and the bamboo top is honestly the reason I kept walking back into the garage just to look at it after I installed it. It makes the space feel finished. Build quality is mostly what I hoped for. The cabinets are metal, they feel sturdy when you grab the doors, and the frames do not feel flimsy. The doors and drawers on my set open smoothly, and they line up well once everything is leveled. The bamboo worktop has a solid feel to it. It is not a thin decorative panel. I have done the usual garage stuff on it. Cutting cardboard, rebuilding a small pump, taking apart a lawn tool, clamping down a piece of wood to drill holes, and it has held up without feeling delicate. It is bamboo, so I still treat it like a work surface. I wipe up liquids. I do not leave oily rags sitting there, and I do not cut directly on it with a knife. But for normal use, it is easy to live with. Setup was the part I was most cautious about, mostly because heavy cabinets can become a frustrating weekend if the holes do not line up or the instructions are vague. In my case, assembly was straightforward, but not light work. The cabinets are heavy enough that I strongly recommend having another person around for the lifting and positioning, especially when you are getting things aligned and trying not to scuff the floor. The instructions were clear enough that I did not feel like I was guessing, but I did take my time. The biggest practical tip from my experience is to focus on leveling. If the floor has even a small slope, which a lot of garages do, you will notice it in how the doors sit and how the drawers slide. Once I got the whole run leveled and tightened down, everything felt more precise. Daily use has been the real test. I store a mix of tools, fasteners, and messy garage supplies. The drawers are where I feel the biggest quality of life improvement because I stopped stacking tool cases on top of each other. I can open a drawer, grab what I need, and close it without pulling out 3 other things first. The cabinets are good for bulkier items like fluids, boxes of gloves, sanding discs, and my small shop vacuum attachments. The adjustable shelves matter more than I expected. Being able to set the shelf height to match what you actually own makes the space feel bigger because you are not wasting vertical room. The bamboo top is where I spend most of my time with the set. I use it as my default landing zone for any project that I am actively working on. I have had a vise clamped to it for a couple of days at a time. I have done light hammering, not full force, but enough to see if the surface feels stable. It does. The only thing I watch for is fine metal shavings and grit. If you slide something sharp or dirty across bamboo, you can scratch it. I keep a small shop towel or mat nearby and put that down when I am working with rough metal parts. In real use, the white finish is both nice and a little annoying. It reflects light well, which helps, but it also shows grime. If your hands are dirty and you grab a cabinet handle, you will leave a mark. If you bump it with a dusty tool case, you might see a scuff. It has not been hard to clean, but I do wipe it down more often than I would with a darker color. It is not a deal breaker. It is just part of owning white cabinets in a garage. I also want to talk about sound and feel because that is something you only notice after living with storage. When I close the doors, they do not rattle. When I open drawers loaded with tools, they still feel controlled. That matters when you are using the set every day. The whole wall feels like one system, not like a bunch of separate pieces that happen to be next to each other. I have seen people ask about smart features and mobile app support in reviews, so I will be direct about it. This cabinet set does not have a mobile app, and it does not need one. There is nothing here that benefits from being connected to a phone. What matters is the fit, the finish, the usability, and whether it stays solid after months of opening and closing. After using it for regular garage tasks, my overall impression is that it does what I wanted. It gave me a consistent home for tools, it gave me a work surface I actually like using, and it made the garage easier to reset after a project. The limitations are also clear. It is heavy, so the install is not something I would rush. The white finish takes more wiping to keep it looking clean. The bamboo top is durable in a practical way, but it is still wood, so you have to treat it with normal care if you want it to stay nice. If you are the kind of person who gets annoyed when tools drift into piles, or you keep buying duplicates because you cannot find what you already have, this kind of cabinet wall helps. It is not about making the garage look perfect. It is about making it easier to work in and easier to clean up when you are done. I'll leave the details about the Bold Series white 7-piece set in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.